Check this out, one of the latest Borneo that hatched. It hatched yesterday and now it's all clean and ready. But the topic of today's video hatched from these eggs. First I'm gonna put this little one with a Borneo that recently hatched. The last ones of this year. There they are. You also see these tubs with the eggs, and that's because in here are some Borneo babies of last year. Obviously bigger as the other one. The young are being kept in these simple tubs in this small IKEA rack. It works very simple. I have some air tubes, some splitters, and then some valves to control the amount of air that's distributed towards the air stones. There's air stone in the water, and that's it. It does mean I need to keep the water clean, but it also helps me to raise these young little ones in a clean environment. And as you can see, the Borneo are in shallow water, because that way, especially when they're young, they can easily reach the surface. Once they get a little bit older, I add a little bit more water. And these tubs are the young Cecalia. Let's do a quick update on these. Now in nature these will be in their hibernation, but because I sold these, I kept them out of hibernation, and just for the first year. You can see this is the one with the small additional scute. But they are all been doing well and growing absolutely phenomenal. Super nice species, really like these, but I already have plenty of older animals that are all unrelated, so I don't need any young of my own, at least not for now. So these will soon go to another home. Here's another one, doing absolutely great. This is one of the perfect ones. Growing very well, eating on worms, pellets, mysis, shrimp, pieces of mussel and fish. So these are doing absolutely great, and keeping them in this manner, at least in the first stages of their life, makes it sure that I can keep them clean very easily and separate. Especially with these Cecalia, young Borneo I can keep together, but Cecalia are pretty territorial, so I'd rather raise them separately. But let's take a look at the real reason of this video. We had success again this year. In this little tub are two captive bred 2022 Lanthanotus borneensis. I gotta be honest, I'm super surprised that I actually got these young, because there were some mistakes made in the beginning and during the incubation period. Because when I found the eggs, I was actually not looking for them, and I was super rough in moving all the substrate to the side. So what happened is all the eggs tumbled, and I had no idea how long they were in there. Due to the tumbling, I already lost some eggs in the beginning, and around the period the eggs should have hatched, they started to cave in drastically, and I got a little bit worried. I think the major reason for these eggs to actually cave in the way they did, because I was so excited. So around the day the eggs should have hatched, I was opening the box pretty much daily to see if I had any young pipping. And of course, every time I opened that box, humanity was able to get out of the box that the eggs were actually incubating in. 2 weeks after their due date, I decided to cut a small slit in these eggs to see what was going on, and there was a developed Lanthanotus in there, but no activity. Unfortunately, those two eggs also died. Honestly, after that I gave up hope. I thought none of the eggs would hatch this year. But I just left them be. The eggs still looked white, so I just left them alone, added a little bit moss, and just pretty much forget about them. So you can imagine that it was a great surprise when I got home from my trip that I actually found some young Lanthanotus in my incubator. And although it's only two, I'm still super glad. We had a little bit of success again with this species. Hoping that next year will be even better, but for this I certainly cannot complain. Now let's take a little bit of a closer look. As you can see, same setup as last year. Just some cork for them to hide under or against. Some sphagnum moss, need to add a little bit of a hide again, but I wanted to have an easy overview of them in the beginning. When they are young, especially when you pick them up in the beginning, they hold a little bit still, like they are a twig. This is a defense mechanism, but I can assure you these are alive. You can feel the tail moving around my finger. There you can see. We might even get a bite out of them. Sorry, having a bit of a hard time with the light and focusing. But here you can see the young grabbing onto my finger. Very small lizard. Still they grow very fast. Sometimes you can see it using its tongue. So super cool, we had success again this year. Really glad. These will move to other homes. I have plenty of Lanthanotus together with my friend. But all in time. They are relatively easy to care for when they're young. I will separate them actually after this video. Man, why does it have such a hard time focusing? Look at that interesting skin. Such cool lizards. Here is both of them. Super cool to see these animals up close. Incredibly beautiful and interesting lizards. Would have liked to have more, but yeah, made some small mistakes. We can learn from those. Don't get away, please. As you can see, they are trying to dig a little bit more. That's what they do. They are not climbers. They try to get away in the water or dig in some earth if possible. They don't like the bright lights also, especially not when young. And again, the adults you also almost never see during the day, only when feeding. Now I hatched them at a temperature of about 26 degrees. They took a month longer as the previous clutches. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's because I found the eggs a little bit later. Maybe there's some form of a diapause, I don't know. Maybe there was just something wrong with my incubator and it was a little bit less warm as I thought it was. I have different thermostats, but still. But eventually they came around. So you can see that light belly that will change to a darker color once they get a little bit older. Super interesting rough skin. Can you see him use that tongue? How cool is it to hold captive bred Lanthanotus 2 years in a row? Super happy. Okay, we'll put him back. There you go.